Hello, beautiful. I see you over there. You're struggling, right? You're constantly creating content. You might be ready to pod fade. Maybe you already have a podcast, or you're on the edge of whether you should launch and if it would be a good idea for your business. So today I want to share with you my 8 favorite reasons that I started a podcast and why I believe every single business owner, entrepreneur, or solopreneur should consider podcasting. Yes, my 8 reasons why everyone who's in business should start a podcast. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. I'm really excited you're here, and I know how hard it is to bust into a new platform, or maybe you busted into this platform of the beautiful thing called podcasting, and you're so overwhelmed because you jumped into it without a strategy. You used Google University, and now you're spinning. You're not even sure why you did it. Maybe somebody said, try a podcast. Well, I want to give you my 8 reasons why I think that podcasting is for every entrepreneur, and why I don't want every entrepreneur in this field because, we're still the wild, wild west and I like us elite. But I think that if you really want a strategy that's going to leave you not burnt out and spinning and constantly feeding the content monster, podcasting is for you. So my number 1 reason that I think everyone should have a podcast is the know, like, and trust factor. There is something different about showing up on a podcast. Granted, if you think about it, podcasting and YouTube are kind of the same, but there's so much power in audio, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But having a podcast, yes, we're growing every month, we're growing every day, but it's still the wild, wild west. Because again, 80% of podcasters aren't making money, and 70% of podcasts pod fade, which means you make it to about episode 10, maybe season 1, and then you just disappear because so many people don't have the strategy that actually gets them monetizing. But the thing is, if you show up in this way, it's an intimate connection with your client. It's so intimate with your listener. I'm in your ear. Maybe you're doing the dishes or you're going for a walk. Yes, you're still distracted, but it's not the same as being distracted on social media. It's not the same of being distracted of having a YouTube open and then being able to check your email. Normally, when you're having a podcast, when you're listening to a podcast, you're listening to the podcast and you're doing something else. So that is going into your subconscious mind. You are gaining that trust almost instantly, because someone has actually come to this platform to spend some time with you. Social media, we want to numb out. You're trying to create content in 60 seconds or less that gets them to like you and stay on your page and show up. Podcasting is different because people are coming to actually pay attention to your message, to learn, to be inspired, or to be entertained for more time than 60 seconds, right? So that's my main thing, is that know, like, and trust. Number 2 is there's so much power in the collaborations and connections you can make. This is having guests on your show, being a guest on other shows, going into podcast communities. This community is unlike any others. And let me tell you, I've toe dipped into most of the other ways of marketing, most of the other communities, and this one's welcoming. We want to scratch each other's back. We want to share our audiences. We want to cross promote. We want to make collaborations. And if you know anything about my story, I truly believe that podcasting saved my life because of these connections. Because I got into a deep, dark space in my life, and I'm an introvert and I don't like meeting new people. And podcasting gave me a way to connect with other people. So that leads me to number 3 is warm leads. Again, you're here for longer. You're spending time with me. If you're in this right now, you're already about 4.5 minutes in. You're a warm lead. I'm teaching you something. You're paying attention. Oh man, I mean, there's no other thing. I love it. Podcasting. So, number 4 is your marketing strategy. If you are feeling overwhelmed by creating content, think about it. You're creating these micro contents over and over again. What if you had one form of long form audio that was evergreen, meaning this is searchable forever, and that long form could feed your entire week of social media, Pinterest, newsletters, mini clips on YouTube, everything from that one piece of content. That means all you do, let's say you record 4 episodes a month, and then you just pull content from that. How easy is that? Super easy, lemon squeezy, as we like it. So number 5, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning, is the audio, the power of audio. Yes, you're still multitasking, but it's not the same kind of multitasking as being online and scrolling and having the visual disruption of something that's on a computer screen or on any screen. It goes deep into your subconscious, and there's a deeper connection. There's such a deep connection through audio. I just absolutely, absolutely love it. Number 6 is you get a new audience. You get to, again, if you're collaborating, you're getting in front of other communities, maybe you're cross-promoting, you're ending up on summits, you're doing something. Not only that, but when you position your podcast correctly, people come to you because they find you through SEO. Yes, the amazing search engine optimization that everyone loves to hate, right? Number 7, you don't know right now what I'm wearing. I could be in my PJs, I could be in my towel, I don't have to dress up. Yes, video podcasts are getting really popular, and there's a strategy behind that. But on the days I don't feel like doing myself up and trying to show up in a certain way, or when I get those magical shower thoughts, I can run from my shower to my microphone and let it spill out without being like, I'm going to offend somebody because I'm in a towel. I'm still wet, whatever it is. So I really want you to think about, like, there is some power. And yes, you do want to set up some sort of a studio. There's a whole thing on the microphones. Please buy dynamic, not condenser. Dynamic mics. Don't get all the cutesy condenser mics. You will hate life because of all the background noise. Anyways, I digress. But PJ recording, towel recording and not having to feel like you have to be on camera. So amazing. And then number 8 is there's possibility for new revenue streams. As you grow, there's partnerships, there's sponsorships. This is the perfect marketing strategy. My marketing strategy is podcast to either one of my boot camps or to my email list to a phone call, and those phone calls turn into customers because you're a warm lead. You already trust me because you've spent time with me. So these new revenue streams and this new marketing strategy is one of my 8th favorite. There's a ton more, but I don't want to bore you because I honor your time. But I truly believe that if you lean into this platform, not only will it build your confidence, because it truly does, it allows you to show up in an authentic way where you're not going to get canceled. Cancel culture is real, but I feel like getting canceled on a podcast is really, really hard. You got to work for it. And we don't want to work for that. So I want you to start considering, okay, is it time to resuscitate my podcast? Maybe my podcast needs a little CPR. That's my jam. I have the podcast CPR. We're going to be doing a boot camp in January, a free 5-day boot camp in January. Maybe you want to launch a podcast and you're like, okay, Jen, I'm ready to launch now before the end of 2023. Well, congratulations. Yes, cheering for you. And I'm excited to announce that I still have my holiday special going on until December 12th. You can have 50% off any of my programs. That means off my launch program, off my one-on-one intensives, or off my mastermind. 50% off, yes. I'm not doing a Black Friday. I'm doing a whole entire pre-holiday special. And what that gets you is that gets you out of the Google University. That makes it so that it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy to position your podcast correctly. I work on a top 0.05% podcast. Yes, that's better than the top 1%. I manage that podcast. This podcast is ranking and it just started. My other podcast is in the top 5% of podcasts in the world. We ranked number 52 on my other podcast. Again, this one's a baby, so we're still working our way up the ladders, but I know how to do this, and I'm lazy, and I know how to do this the easy way, and I know how to do this without being overwhelmed by tech, because let me tell you, my parents are more advanced with tech than I am, especially when it comes to cell phones. So there's that. If you want to do it the easy peasy lemon squeezy way, you want to launch with ease, come join us. Join me now. We're doing a live launch, so we have our shows ready so that in 2023 we can launch out into the world with ease and start creating those revenue streams that get us off the hamster wheel of creating content all the time for social media that doesn't pay us back. No more of that. It's time for you to join the 20% of podcasters that are profiting from their podcast. And for you, those of you who are already a podcast, join me on my one-on-one intensive. Again, that's 50% off. That one-on-one. In 1 month, we can turn your podcast around and get it profiting and get it streamlined so you are not overwhelmed, so that you're spending maybe 2 hours a week on your marketing plan and it's driving people into you. So if you want information about either of those, it's down in the show notes. But if anything, please consider putting some effort into your podcast. Consider launching your podcast, because it'll be the best thing you do for yourself and your self-love if you really want to break free from the hustle and the bustle of this entrepreneurship. Go out and make today amazing. I will see you in the next episode.